Terence Crawford makes a lot of on-the-fly adjustments. What is that going to mean when you get in there with somebody that is a pressure fighter if you're not able to get that pressure off of you? Terence Crawford's probably going to have to hurt Errol and get Errol's respect on the inside. Even looking at Terence Crawford fight mid-range, Shawn Porter, Igas Kalvanakis, those guys had a significant amount of success at mid-range as well.
What's it gonna be like 100 years from now?
What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call, man. And we are back for another one. Alright, y'all. We got a new topic. New topic. Errol Spence is too basic for Terence Crawford victory. Bud reacts too fast for Spence, says Mikey Garcia. Alright, y'all. So, inching closer to this fight actually being made, and us crowning, not us, but the boxing world crowning a undisputed welterweight champion for the first time in years. Now, this fight is still held up in negotiations. It hasn't been announced yet. A lot of people are reporting November 19th. Some people saying it's been announced yesterday, or it was getting announced today on the holiday. Nothing official yet, so don't believe the hype just yet, but it's definitely coming. If this fight doesn't happen, believe me, heads are gonna roll, and these two fighters' careers will never be the same again afterwards. But let's focus on what Mikey Garcia had to say. Mikey Garcia says that Errol Spence Jr. is way too basic to beat Terence Bud Crawford, because Bud Crawford has all of these skill sets. He can fight going forward, he can fight going backwards. He's been undisputed before, so a lot of people feel like he's had these big fight moments already. You know, there's nothing new under the sun that Terence Crawford hasn't seen. I beg to differ. And, you know, I find it funny that most of the guys that Errol Spence Jr. has beaten, picking Terence Crawford to win. And I'm wondering why are all these fighters that, with the exception of Ugas, I haven't heard Ugas. You know, Ugas doesn't speak English though, so I'm wondering what his perspective of this fight is, you know, because he was the last person to fight Errol Spence. Took a pretty bad beating. I wonder what his perspective on this fight would actually be. The former opponents of Errol Spence picking Terence Crawford, it says a lot about Errol Spence, good and bad. Because I feel like people that you've already faced up with or had a rivalry with or beaten in some type of sport usually hold a grudge against you. They normally hold a grudge against you after that, after you've beaten them and humiliated them, made them look bad. Because, I mean, just go back and look at the former opponents of Michael Jordan, and you know, they show him a lot of respect now, but they all have a bitterness toward Jordan. Like, man, if I would have just did this, I could have beaten Jordan. Or if we had this team, we could have beat Jordan. So I find it to be funny that it's the former opponents of Spence that are the ones picking Crawford. Now, they're not the only ones that are picking Crawford. Former champions, you know, former boxers are also picking Crawford based off of his switch hitting, the fact that he can fight going forward or backwards, the fact that he's already been undisputed. You know, these are the reasons I feel like they're picking Terence Crawford to win this fight. But I think that they're leaving something really big out of the picture. That is the fact Errol Spence can really fight. He's not just a big welterweight. He's not just a weight bully. He can fight. He can throw down. Now, me personally, I feel like he would have lost to Pacquiao for certain reasons. Now, Terence Crawford can do some of the things that Manny Pacquiao could do. He could actually do some of the things Pacquiao could do better than Pacquiao. But there was an element to Pacquiao's game that Terence Crawford doesn't have, and that is the hand-foot synchronization and the speed of that. Terence Crawford doesn't have that. Now, he has foot speed, he has some hand speed, but they're not synchronized and they're not as quick as what Manny Pacquiao possessed. And the fact that Errol Spence Jr. can just flat out fight. He's a big fighter. Terence Crawford's not known for having serious power as a boxer. He didn't have serious power as a 130, didn't have serious power as a 140, doesn't have serious power at 147. So what does Terence Crawford do to hurt Errol Spence Jr., to make Errol Spence Jr. stop coming forward, to stop throwing punches, to make him think before he makes a movement? I don't think he does anything that could stop the pressure of Errol Spence Jr. other than combination punches. Now, if he's able to put a bunch of combinations together that Errol Spence just can't counteract because they're coming too fast, and this is the reason I had Pacquiao beating Errol Spence, because I thought he would come in with that hand-foot speed synchronization, and it would just overwhelm Spence the way it overwhelmed Cotto and Margarito. And I think it would have worked, but when we got the Ugas fight, we didn't get the version of Pacquiao everybody thought we were going to get. This could bode the same thing for Terence Crawford. We might, the Crawford fans think they're going to get a version of Crawford that's better than they've ever seen. What if you get the same old thing and he hasn't added a new wrinkle, or there's nothing new that he's added in there? Is the same old same good enough to beat Errol Spence Jr.? I mean, it's been good enough to beat everybody else that he's faced up with, but is it good enough to beat Spence Jr.? Because I think it's gonna, and I agree with one of the other channels I was watching to come up with this topic, that he said that Terence Crawford is gonna have to hurt Errol Spence Jr. to make him stop coming forward. But I don't ever remember him having hurt a fighter power. He has enough power to knock guys down and enough power and enough speed to throw guys' rhythms off. But he doesn't have, I'm going to make you stop coming forward power. So I think it's going to be rough on Terence Crawford from the opening bell to the ending bell. And it's going to take something special. Maybe that's why he's bulking up, for him to slow the pursuit and the pace of Errol Spence Jr. down. And Mikey Garcia, for that part, he didn't really do anything in the Errol Spence Jr. fight. Errol Spence beat him from opening bell to closing bell. So I don't understand why he thinks that Terence Crawford is going to have any better success than he did. People consider Mikey Garcia to be a speed fighter. They consider him to have good power. And he had absolutely no success at all versus Errol Spence Jr. So I'm wondering what in his brain does he think that Terence Crawford can bring to the table that nobody else has been able to bring to the table. Not even Ugas, being a bigger fighter and having a long reach, could counteract what Spence does. I think there's only one way of beating Errol Spence Jr., and that is speed, 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 speed. And bulking up is not helping yourself to become a better speed fighter. Just is what it is.
Errol Spence Jr. is fast enough to keep that space consistently. Terence Crawford is going to be playing speed chess. Interesting observations from Mikey Garcia.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about what Mikey Garcia had to say down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share, subscribe. Holla at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube. So holla at me over there if you want a response. It's your boy Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me. And we are mine.
Socialism, 50 million folks in prison. Dumb nigga, you supposed to listen.